Today, guys, I'm gonna go over a belt squat, kind of a tutorial. Where's my head at as I'm doing this? What's the purpose? What's the process? What's the value? If your gym has a belt squat of any particular kind, whether it's a lever like this or it's a vertical banded or whatever it might be, you have a real advantage in improving, we'll call it the squat, and all the benefits of having a really good barbell back squat, that posture and that ability, that specificity as it transfers into your sport or your job or profession. There's a real value to that. And I want to kind of talk you through this, okay? So the belt squat, yes, we can definitely overload it with more weight. We definitely can do that. And that's just one aspect of the belt squat that's value. The biggest value that I see is it allows us to work on our posture, like our squatting, like what should the bottom of my squat posture look like, right? Or what should it be like? Because if example is like, if I'm doing a belt squat and I'm sitting way back and like leaning back, like that's not where, like when I squat, barbell back squat or front squat, right? There's a hinge and then there's a vertical descent, right? We don't lean back on the squat and, right? It's not a hack squat in that sense. So that's the first mistake that happens with most belt squats is people lean back, right? And then as I squat, as I get to the bottom, my knees are behind my toes. Your knees should be in front of your toes, right? At least they're over top of them vertically, okay? So what we want to do is we want to take the squat pattern and we want to duplicate it here. We want to increase our time under tension, whatever it might be, and that's kind of like the go through on this is like I'm just going to pretend that I have a bar in my back, essentially as far as my movement pattern is concerned, but now I've got a handle. So I'm going to go into my hinge, right? I'm firing my hamstrings. I'm pushing my butt back. I'm not tilting my pelvis. I'm not tilting. I'm firing into my hamstrings. So I'm doing it, there's a chain of contraction. So here my glutes are fired. I've got my glutes fired. As I go into that hinge, I'm transferring that glute firing into my hamstring. And now that I've got that tension still, I can vertically displace and also ascend without trying to like waver on the way down because my center of gravity is out here. My center of gravity should be in my center so I can descend vertically, okay? And that's what we're trying to do is, so if my natural point of aim of my gun is this, my torso is slightly forward. I'm not like this with my gun. My natural point of aim is taking that good athletic position and shooting from here. So this posture of my torso, I don't lean back when I squat, right? I hinge. I go into that posture, the natural point of aim. And as I descend, that natural point of aim persists. I do not change my natural point of aim by changing my posture. And that's the really good side of this is the entire descent is I'm in a state of awareness. I could scan a room, I can sweep, I'm squatting, I can scan a room, right? Come back up, scan a room, squat. That's the whole idea is I shouldn't be with my gun, okay? Because if I'm doing that with a belt squat or a squat, like a barbell, when this stress is making me be unbalanced, what do you think a firearm and someone shooting bullets at you is going to do? You're like, whoa, you've not established a base, literal base, to move from. So the body doesn't know where to, like, what am I going to do? What's safe? It goes into flight, okay? So on the belt squat, guys, it's hinge, right? I always kind of say that if I have my butt clenched, if I have my glutes clenched, there's a wall 6 or 7 inches behind me. When I unclench my glutes, I flex my hamstrings and put my butt against that wall. Now I slide my butt down that wall essentially, okay? I slide it back up the wall, and then I fire my glutes to come off the wall, right? At no point am I arching. At no point am I head here or here, okay? Natural point of aim, we squat, okay? That is what we're trying to get out of our belt squats. Yes, we definitely, in the bodybuilding, the powerlifting, and the performance sport world, we can use this for other things, just like in the tactical. But before we get into power and speed and dynamic this and do this and diversity this and try something different, let's really perfect that foundational squat, that squatting movement pattern. And when you can do this With stability, with tension, everything else, you will find out that everything else is easier, not because it's necessarily lighter, but your nervous system is reacting to you constantly being in this good state of tension instead of like, ooh, jerky or not enough tension, okay? We want to stay in a constant state of awareness through constant time under tension. Give it a shot.